Apple Card is the credit card created by Apple. You earn 3% daily cash back up front when you use it to buy a new iPhone 15, AirPods, or any products at Apple. And you can automatically grow your daily cash at 4.15% annual percentage yield when you open a high-yield savings account. Apply for Apple Card in the Wallet app on iPhone. Apple Card subject to credit approval. Savings is available to Apple Card owners subject to eligibility. Savings accounts by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC. Terms apply.
Tired of ads interrupting your favorite show? Good news. Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Download the Amazon Music app or visit amazon.com/ad-free sports. That's amazon.com/ad-free sports to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads. Enjoy thousands of Acast shows ad-free for Prime members. Some shows may have ads.
Hello everyone, it's Mina Rizuki and I'm here to talk a little bit about the Champions League matches that took place. It's Tuesday evening. We've just finished the match between Inter and Real Sociedad and Napoli and Braga. So I'm sure you already know, but both Napoli and Inter have qualified, albeit in second place, which I think is somewhat disappointing when it comes to Inter, because we were hoping that they could come in first place and not have to come up against the likes of Bayern Munich, Arsenal, Real Madrid, Manchester City, potentially Atletico Madrid, all very, very difficult teams to really take on, in all honesty. But let's actually start with that match. It was 0-0 in the end. Real Sociedad had 67% possession in the first half. In the first 15 minutes, they were just completely in control of possession, but they couldn't actually craft any real interesting opportunities up front. And it seemed like Inter's plan was to try to contain them and watch them as they get more and more exhausted and try to take their opportunities in the second half by introducing different players. That at least seemed to be the plan. Inzaghi had chosen to go with Marcos Thuram and Alexis Sanchez up front. Fratesi came in for Barella. Cuadrado started alongside him on the right flank. Carlos Augusto played in a three-man defence alongside Acerbi and Darmian. And of course, ahead of him was Di Marco. And like I said, it just seemed about La Real was the team that dominated possession, couldn't really do very much. I think Sadik had a very poor game, in all honesty. Cuadrado, I really wanted to be like, welcome to Cuadrado, because it's either brilliance or it's that. It wasn't a very good match from him, in all honesty. It wasn't also a very good match for Çalhanoğlu. And I thought it was interesting the way that La Real decided to treat him. They decided to, when out of possession, basically pressure Çalhanoğlu, because they understand his importance to Inter and the role that he has in playmaking, and decided to pressure him. And Zakarian was tasked with doing that. He was on him a lot. And it was the first time that you saw Çalhanoğlu play a poor game, in all essence. He seemed to be rather overwhelmed, wasn't making the right decisions, and it's very strange because we recorded earlier in the podcast all together alongside Nikki and Patrick, and we were talking about the fact that Çalhanoğlu is when he became available, Inzaghi and Marotta both had the thought to bring him in, and I was saying that I never thought that I could see him be this brilliant player that he's become. Vincenzo Montella called him the best midfielder potentially in the world right now. And he has been absolutely marvellous. And putting that man on him and pressuring him so much, you could see he couldn't deal with it effectively, which gives you a little bit of a blueprint as to what to do going forward. And Inter have had this before with Brozovic, when he was playing, and they would man mark him and try to man mark him out the way. Life became that bit more difficult, I think, for Inter. But it's also important to note La Real play a really annoying type of football. I call it annoying. To everyone else, it's wonderful. But they do apply a lot of pressure. They dominate possession. I feel like it's a little bit like they're all over you all the time. And they're not really coming up with it. They weren't coming up with the greatest of chances, but they are a difficult and exhausting team to play against. In all honesty, they haven't lost since several weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, I believe, and that was against Barcelona, and they should never have lost that game. So they have been in outstanding form in the league at the moment, and they deserve their place. But it's annoying for Inter because I think that right now they are potentially one of the best teams in Europe. I don't see many better, in all honesty, than them right now. I'm not even entirely sure City is. I would say that they could be on par with them. And we always have this self-deprecating view of Serie A because we don't want to say that they're the best because everyone will be like, oh, what about these teams? And so, but right now, based on the way that they're producing and performing and their performances in Serie A, I would say that they are the best, in all honesty. And so I was expecting them to win this. And I'll tell you why as well. I think it's not just about trying to avoid a City or a Barcelona or any of these teams, but it's also the timings of what they will face. Because if you are playing a team that, I don't know, like a Leipzig, for example, it can allow you to somewhat potentially rotate if you start well. And I think here's the thing. So the first leg of the round of 16 will either played on the 13th and 14th of February or the 20th and 21st. And here's the thing. Just before the 13th and 14th, Inter will have to travel to the Olimpico to face Roma. It's very difficult to go and play Jose Mourinho's side and then midweek play a Champions League game potentially against somebody like Bayern or Real Madrid. It is a very exhausting week, and that is where you start dropping points.
Head to serieachronicles.com/Patreon now and subscribe to the Chronicles Tifosi Patreon membership with a free 7-day trial. Get early access to every full-length episode and voice note before the rest of the world. Plus, all episodes are 100% ad-free. And you get bonus Patreon-only exclusive episodes, video episodes, and behind-the-scenes extras. Also, be sure to join the new chat community in the Patreon app and chat with fellow subscribers.
Well. Shopping for a car?
Yep. Carvana made financing a car as smooth as can be.
Oh, yeah?
I got pre-qualified instantly and had real terms personalized just for me.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
Well, I got to browse thousands of car options on Carvana, all within my budget.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
It does. I actually wanted a car that seemed out of my range, but I was able to add a cosigner and found my dream car.
It doesn't get much...
Oh, it gets smoother. It's getting delivered tomorrow.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get pre-qualified today.
And so finishing top would have perhaps helped with all of that. And even if it's not an even if they win these matches against a City or whatever it is mentally exhausting as well. I do love that Inzaghi feels that he's got a squad that's good enough to beat anyone, so he's not too fussed about going in. But it's these types of things that you would have hoped to try to avoid as much as possible. If they get to play either on the 20th or the 21st of February, then it's somewhat easier because they face Salernitana or Lecce. It's sandwiched between these two ties. So much easier. Now, the return legs, the first one would be on the 5th or 6th of March. The second is 12th or 13th. Again, if they get the 12th or 13th, they have to then go to Napoli and play them on the 17th. They play Napoli. I actually don't know if it's home and away. I cannot believe I don't remember that. Let me just... Yes, no, they play them at home. I'm sorry. They did go to Sao Paulo already and had that brilliant game. I'm sorry, excuse me. I am just recovering from a flu. But either way, I think this was a missed opportunity in all essence, in all truth. La Real now have finished as leaders thanks to a superior overall goal difference. I think this says a lot about the Spanish teams and their performances this season. A lot of question marks were asked about them last year because they had a few problems, but now it looks like all four teams could well finish top of the table. Real Madrid have, Real Sociedad have, Barcelona have, and it's about Atletico tomorrow, and they just have to beat Lazio, who can even beat Hellas Verona. So I'm not very hopeful. It's also worth noting that Atletico haven't lost a single match at home this year, which is why I'm worried about them also, being a team that faces any one of the Italians going forward. Notable players, I thought Acerbi is having really the season of his life. I think he's just been really outstanding in the back, and I don't think that he gets enough plaudits for the way that he's been playing. After the match, I think a lot of question marks were asked as to why Inzaghi chose to play Alexis Sanchez and Marcos Thuram, who was outstanding, and then replace them with Lautaro Martinez and Marco Arnautovic. So why not have started with sort of Sanchez and Arnautovic, and then bring on the goal-scoring twins when you needed the goal towards the end? And I think that's the question. But Inzaghi feels that he's cleverer than me, so I'm sure he knows what he's doing, and he's happy with rotating the squad in the way that he's doing, and he feels, I guess, confident that going forward they can take any team on, and hopefully it won't affect them in the league title either. Meanwhile, Napoli finally won at home again. It's something that I wasn't sure I was going to say anytime soon. But they did. They won 2-0 against Braga. Napoli, I'm sure you're all very much aware, had only won 2 matches at home this season, the last one coming at the end of September. So they've been rather hideous when playing at home. I always want to say, did I actually say Stadio San Paolo? I keep saying that, Stadio Diego Maradona. Diego Armando Maradona. I keep doing that. Do you know how many times I've done that on TV and radio and had to correct myself? And this time around, I think I've corrected myself too late. I don't actually know if I said it, but if I did say it, I'm sorry. I always revert back to the original name of Napoli Stadium. It is, of course, the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona. Right, back to Napoli Braga. I really like Braga as a team. They're one of those really crazy teams that always goes for it. They're sort of no holds barred. They, on average, score 2 goals a game.
Become a member at patreon.com/Serie A Chronicles for regular bonus episodes and content.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Looking for a fun way to win 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/play100 and use code play100. That's code play100 at prizepicks.com/play100 for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.